Hey guys, I'm here with our first sponsor, a book I can't recommend enough, Healthy Made Easy, written by Mitchell Thompson. We've had him on the show. He's the owner of Self-Sustained Training. Great guy. He's given us a book jam-packed with so much information on diet, the effects on the body, what we should be eating. I can't recommend this book enough. Like I said, if you need a guide to starting a healthier diet, living healthier, this is the book has everything you need to start out. Easy read, jam-packed with information. It's available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Be sure to head over, follow Mitchell Thompson. He's on Instagram, all platforms, Facebook, everything. Check out his documentary. That as well is very eye-opening. Issues in our medical field, how beneficial a healthy diet is. I want to appreciate everybody for supporting the show. And go check it out.
There was some guys that were like legit jiu-jitsu guys. You know, they just what was his name? Oh God, it's been so long. Can't even think of his name right now. This dude I trained with at American Jiu-Jitsu, Job. Job was like a legit good jiu-jitsu teacher. He was probably the first legit okay, this guy actually knows what he's talking about. Jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Like he's been thoroughly trained in BJJ and knew how to wear a gi and use it right and you could tell he'd been adequately trained. You know what I'm saying? Because you go to some places and it's there's good gyms and there's bad gyms.
So I've only been going to healing for, what's it going on, 2 years now. And then about 5 years ago, I trained at 10th Planet for a small amount of time. I still go out and see them a lot. I've had them on the show, good friends. But so I'm still learning the whole history of Kansas City and the whole MMA, jiu-jitsu scene, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild. Some of the stories I've, been told.
Well, really where the growth happened was when James Krause bought Grindhouse.
Oh, okay.
That's where it all so what happened was Grindhouse, it was called, so Brian Davidson owned K2L and he started running a mixed martial arts class. We called it Grindhouse. Mm-hmm. And what basically happened was basically all the best fighters in KC came together at that gym.
Oh, really?
And then we started bringing in out of town guys. And so the talent in that gym, I was with a guy named Fred Edish for a really long time and he was a great coach, but you got to have good partners.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that was a really hard thing for me to leave because I knew how much Fred cared about me. And he was a really good coach, and he was very knowledgeable. I mean, he'd do anything. We drove to fucking Florida together to fight Ethan Garrison at a fight party. Dude, it was some of the stuff we were doing back then was crazy. And
what was training like back then, man? Was it pretty was it a packed house, or was it only a select few guys would?
Grindhouse, packed house.
Was it?
Grindhouse would be they had different.
So as soon as they opened up, they gained some pretty good traction, got pretty popular.
That's what made it big. So James, I think originally James and Zach Cummings were kind of both coming together on the deal because Zach had moved out here because his wife had got a job and then he pretty much got rooted here and he owns Ignite, which was a Glory.
Yeah, I met him once.
But all those guys were in that room that own the gyms now. All of them. Sharkbait has a gym. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think they just opened one up in Parkville.
Yeah. There's a lot of good gym. I think they all I don't know, I go to Rudys and 99.9% of the team I get along really, really well with, and it's a very family environment.
Where's that at? I follow them, but where's it at?
Westport.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, their jiu-jitsu's Henrique is the jiu-jitsu teacher there. He's very good. He's been well trained. He's from Brazil. He has the whole upbringing. It's his life.
Okay, cool.
Jiu-jitsu is the dude's life.
That's awesome. The gym looks dope, dude, inside.
Oh, it is cool.
Yeah,
it is cool. But Zach, because I went out there and I was training at Zach's because some stuff happened at Rudy's. like the way they do stand up is like it's just weird because like there's different ways you can do things. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like you could drill with mitts or you could drill with gloves.
Right.
You know, like just like, you know, like you know, you're like not like sparring, but you're going through movements, you know, and personally, like when I'm drilling like a combination, for me to get it down, like it's almost better for me to practice in front of like a live target,
Right.
versus just hitting pads.
How long you been training for?
Well, so in 2006, I transferred high schools my senior year, and wrestled at Blue Springs.
Oh, okay.
And Matt Cox was one of my coaches there. He was assistant coach. Mike Haggerty was the head coach. Probably one of the best teams I've ever been on my entire life. Like, talk about good coaching. Like, I mean, I literally left the high school. I had to go there, and it created a bunch of drama, but whatever. But, I mean, it was a smart choice. It was a hard choice, but it was a smart choice. And Cox, you know, he kind of saw it in me just from my style and how I trained really hard. He's like, dude, you could be a really good fighter. You know, and then he introduced me. I would go to him to some different gyms. And then finally, as soon as I graduated, I had my first fight.
Oh, really?
But I had no clue what jiu-jitsu even was.
How old were you? So right out of high school or
17,
still in?
18.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So like your senior year?
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
That's crazy.
And what's funny is I lost the first fight. I was like smashing the guy.
Yeah. And
I slammed him down. And he armbarred me so hard.
Oh, really? And you were like, fuck, I got to figure this shit out.
He's going to break my arm. I'm like, there's not a way out of this one. And then I won 11 fights in a row from 2006 to my sophomore year of college. You know? So, I mean, like,
I'm guessing after
like
that
2-year
first
time
fight,
period, it was like, just, we were just blowing through them. We were traveling everywhere. I mean, the cross training was good with Fred, and he had so many connections. It was just there was like not a ton of people in his class back then. And that was the thing with Glory, is it because of what they created, it brought a lot of good guys together. And then what happened was James started franchising out the Glory brand and built this huge, I mean, MMA. It was the MMA mecca of the Midwest, really, if you think about it.
Which one was the first Glory? Is that the Lee Summit?
Lee Summit. Yeah,
Okay.
He built that first building when we came out of Grindhouse.
Okay.
And I had just like exited right before that happened.
Where was Grindhouse at?
Grindhouse was at K2L in Lee Summit.
Okay. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean Brian is Brian's a phenomenal coach. James is a phenomenal coach. Like the whole Glory thing, like, I mean, honestly, the way it worked out is probably the way it should have, because like each one of those people that were running the gyms, like you know, Zach, or you go down the list, like they kind of all have their own brand,
right?
You know, I think a lot of their training styles are different and similar, you know, because they really all came. We all came from the same place, really, if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Then the Rudys was always like, I don't know, I usually just consider them like the bad guys.
The outcast?
not the bad fighters, but like, I don't know, like just the bad guys, like, you know, like Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker kind of thing. But then I met Rudy, and me and Rudy got along so well. Rudy and Zach actually fought a couple times. Like, I mean, Rudy's is phenomenal. I mean, I think there's a lot of phenomenal gyms, and all of them are great. It's just, you know, in a way, like, I wish that you could, like, I mean, you could, but if you could just, like, you know, get a little bit from each gym, you know, it'd make you. But then it depends on training partners too. Is there somebody the right size?
Right, right.
Is there another good fighter in there that's going to push you?
Yeah.
I mean, even if they're in a different weight class, as long as you guys can get along.
Yeah. How many fights have you had?
So I was 11-1 as an amateur, and then I'm 9-10-1 as a pro.
Damn, that's a lot of fights, dude.
Yeah, the last 3 were fucking crazy.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, I wasn't even really. So I got in a bad car accident in 22. So I did 5 bodybuilding shows in 22.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know. I noticed that.
I won the Texas Legends, the Midwest Championships, and the Empire Classic. And then I decided to experiment with some stuff for the Emerald Cup that kind of like, it just wasn't my best look. I don't know how else to explain it. But after the Midwest Championships, Derek Lunsford, that's when I met Derek Lunsford. He got third this year at the Olympia, but he was the former champ.
Okay.
He's like, John, are you going to do USAs? And as soon as he said it, I'm like Derek Lunsford just asked us to do USAs. I'm like, I wasn't planning on it. He's like, you should think about it. You could be Mr. USA. I was Mr. USA, and I was like, dude, I got to do that show now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard, like, just the problem is, like, you break, once you get through so much fat, then you're going to start to break down muscle tissue. And, you know, I mean, I honestly think it's only good to do a couple shows a year max. Really, just from it's just, if you're really coming in and conditioned. And, you know, that's what makes this next show interesting. So what had happened was I had got in a car accident after USA's. Didn't place where I wanted to at USA's. Got in a car accident after USA's, literally the month after. And I tore my labrum in my left shoulder.
Is this recent or is this a while ago?
This is in 22.
Okay.
Yeah, I fucked myself up really bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So.
Injure anything severe?
I mean, I tore a bunch of stuff up.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Thank God. You
Yeah.
know, like, but like when it first happened, I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. They were taught, we like went back and forth about these different surgeries and doing all this different stuff. And I was just like, hold on, like, give me some time. Let me talk to some people.
Yeah.
Like, let me, you know, and
See if there's another alternative.
it took a lot of shit, but I'm doing pretty good now.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And so then I did the Arnold Classic in 2023, the Arnold Amateur, and I got third. I mean, 2 spots away. I was downsized, though. My legs were down in that show because, like, I mean, my shoulder, my shoulder's fine and it doesn't give me any pain. The rotation, like, I don't have like as good a rotation as do my right.
Right.
And honestly, my knee doesn't really hurt anymore, but at first it was hard, and I've learned I just train legs different.
Well, and you got a fuck ton of muscle on you, so you're already hindering yourself there, you know, with rotation. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of it.
Did you actually tear your...
I tore my labrum.
Okay.
Yeah, I tore my labrum, and I tore cartilage meniscus in my right knee, and I herniated all the disc in my neck, and had a really bad, probably the worst concussion I've ever had.
Dude, herniations suck, man. I deal with I know herniation and bulging discs are different, but I guess I'll classify it as a bulging disc. Whatever it is, I get it down in my L4 and L5, and every now and then it'll be something random. Like, we'll have some crazy fucking hard rolls, and I'll be fine, and then I'll posture up in guard and snap. Yeah. I feel it right in my back pop. And then I'm hunched over like this for 3 days, you know, trying to work it out, you know. It's a horrible feeling, man.
Horrible. So there's a few things I do for that. Like,
I do too. I do Stuart McGill's, dude, man. The McGill threes.
What is that?
Stuart McGill, he invented these. I'm sure he done a lot more than what I know, but he has these 3 exercises that you do. It's bird dogs, side planks, and then these weird like things where you like lift your head up and kind of flex. Well, because what he says is, you know, a lot of the lower back problems, where it comes from, it's from your core. Your core's weak. So it's not holding everything together. So when you're doing something wild, you know, I'm probably doing a horrible job explaining this, but you know,
I understand what you're saying.
Things will start to bulge, you know, because it's not secure. So I've been doing that. My buddy Luke Josephine is the one who sent me that. And he was like, yeah, man, he's like, watch these videos. He's like, it's going to help you. And I've been routinely sticking to them then, you know, since then, man. And it's been a game changer. So,
yeah. So for me, like, if I ever have, like, if something's not feeling right, I go see this guy named Dr. Chase. Dude, he's like the best chiropractor.
Yeah, I did chiropractor work.
No, this guy can pop my neck, and you'll be like, dude, what just happened? And he just like, it's like,
really?
He can do it different. He can get a spot that I just can't get.
Yeah.
And when he gets it, it's just like my left hand gets warm, it's like I don't always need it, but when I need it, he gets it every single time.
And I think it's good to have, you know, especially in the times when you really do need it. But I think what people fail to see is that they rely on the chiropractor.
I think the biggest part of it is decompression, and that's when the inversion table comes into play.
I got one.
What happens is they're decompressing everything, and if you're lifting weights or you have a bunch of
it's just
strain
slowly,
compressing you, then you need to decompress yourself, and that's what. And
mobility drills. Like a lot of people skip the mobility drills.
Every time before I train chest, I'm going back and forth with this band, and I do this. Before, when I was a kid, I never did none of that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The older we get, though, man.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you got to be smart about the way you train, really, is what it comes down to. So, like, I went through this whole evolution with my workouts and stuff. I did the Arnold. Like, my upper body looked good. I was downsized. It probably wasn't my best look, but it was pretty close to still winning the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then right after that fight, this guy named Tony tagged me in this post with this dude named Namfam. I don't know if you know who he is. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. He got made fun of for jerking off in the shower.
No.
He's like this little Asian guy. Like, dude, I don't really know what
he's here in Kansas City?
No, he's in LA.
Oh, okay.
He's so basically he was hating on Bradley Martin, and like, dude, he was literally trying to pick a fight with Bradley Martin. I don't know how else to explain it.
The Raw Talk dude, the podcast guy.
Yeah. And so Tony tags in. Tony's a legit coach out there now. He's with he's a coach at one of the gyms out there. He's a stand-up coach. And he tagged me in it, and he goes, "How about you pick on a real fighter?" And Nam Fam latched onto it, and he started fucking posting shit on his Instagram about wanting to beat my ass, basically. And so then the next thing you know, this guy named Enzor is messaging me on Instagram, like trying to negotiate this fight. And then I'm talking to him about going to Japan and fighting on one. Yeah. And then that's when I connected with Rudy. He's like, Rudy was like, "Are you gonna fight this guy or what?" And I'm like, "Well, it's starting to look that way." He's like, "You think you might want to come in for training?" Because
you've been bodybuilding, right?
Yeah. I'm like, really bad. And so what was funny, the first time I walked in there, I thought I was just gonna do some wrestling, some no-gi shit. This fucking guy, he has this whole series he's doing, and he throws me a gi and throws me a white belt, and he goes, "You're gonna fight this guy first." Dude, it gassed me out so bad. I literally I was 265 at that point. I was huge.
And you hadn't trained in how
long? Realistically, I hadn't. I hadn't trained serious since 2011. And 2015, I went to this gym for a while called West Coast Fight Club, and I still that's. So in 2016, I was working for GNC. I was probably at the peak of my career, but I was kind of I don't know. It wasn't really what I thought I'd do for the rest of my life when I'd started it. You know what I'm saying? And
at the peak of your MMA career. Right?
No, at the peak of my GNC career.
GNC career.
I just got promoted. I got all these bonuses. I was basically the best district manager in the company.
Nice.
They were paying me pretty well. I was learning a lot. They were taking good care of me, but it was I don't know. It wasn't really necessarily what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And, and then I was I just wasn't being myself. I wasn't training. My whole life had become focused around
work.
GNC.
Yeah.
Literally. And I was dude, I have this whole athletic ability, and I'm doing nothing with it. Yeah. I'm completely wasting. I'm not doing all the things I really love to do. And on top of that, I was working so hard, but I wasn't really necessarily building anything for myself. And I was making good money, but the amount of money I was making them was insane. Yeah. I was literally going places and turning around different states. Yeah. They would right before COVID, they had they gave me part of the Nevada district, and they had moved this other guy and gave them a few stores off my district to kind of balance it out a little bit. But some of the stores they gave that other guy were super good, powerhouse stores. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? That's bullshit. Yeah. The trades weren't fair. And but I mean, when you take over a bad area and bring it up, like they look at like a percent of plan, and that's what you get your bonus off of.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so like, well, then they did. I don't really know what the structure is now. So I was like, well, I can just go turn this place around. And although I lost these good stores, so I turned all those stores around, and they all shut down during COVID.
Oh shit! Yeah, I was about to say I haven't seen a GNC in a while.
Well, no, they're still out there. Yeah, like I
there
don't
used to
know
be one down the street from here on down Antioch
a
Road.
lot of it. The company when we first launched publicly, the stock soared, did really good, but the CEO we had at the time, like he was like more of like he knew how to like cut cost and like honestly like it made our company less good,
right?
But we made a bunch of money doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Try to like run it bare bones, kind of. Is that what you mean by cutting costs?
I mean, he just
wasn't the right guy for the job. Huh?
No, he knew how to. He inflated the numbers, but then like the way his game plan worked is like once it hit a peak, it was just gonna flop. You see what I'm saying? Like you could, and he timed it really well and sold a bunch of stock, and a lot of people made money. Like, you know, I get it, but like that's just not the way. That was kind of like, and I was part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of like sucks to kind of watch happen to a company. And then when we went through COVID, we went back private, and they almost went bankrupt.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so literally, like, there was one day where my boss called me, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to go meet up with so and so and get his keys. I need you to go meet up with so-and-so and get his keys, and you're getting all their stores." I'm like, what the fuck? So I had like stores in Alaska and Oregon and Washington and like.
So you're just traveling around?
It was nuts. And and during that time period, like we're up to like 2019 now. And I was like right in the middle of prep for the Idaho Cup, which actually ended up being like probably one of my, I wasn't as big as I was the 22 Midwest Championships, but I was freaking peeled. Like I nailed that. That was the first one I did by myself without a coach. Like I was like, you know what, I'm going to really take this upon and do it myself, which is not easy to do.
Especially when it comes to the nutrition side, you know, that's got to be.
You just got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like the toughest one this prep was really like last week. So I went from training, you know, an extra 2 to 3 hours per day doing mixed martial arts to completely cut it.
Oh, okay.
So like with that being said, you're going to have to compensate with your diet.
Right.
Bro, I cut that. I mean, I literally cut my food. Like, I mean, I was eating 7 meals and I cut to 6. I was drinking 4 shakes. I cut to 0.
Shoot.
My carbs went from like 8 grams of sweet potato to 5. My freaking, I had to bring my protein down. I was eating so much protein, it was retarded.
How much?
Dude,
like a gram and a half?
Okay,
sorry,
no, more than that, bro.
What?
I was eating 8 ounces of chicken 7 times a day.
Dude, I have a hard time getting 180 grams.
I was drinking 3 43-gram protein, 4 43-gram. I was getting 200 grams of protein from shakes almost.
Holy shit, dude.
But I mean, honestly, like,
how did you feel?
You know, I didn't really feel like, as long as I got enough sleep, you know, it depended really on the week.
You didn't feel heavy, like just.
No, man, I was in a pretty good flow, honestly. Like I was like everything, like it was tough to keep up with everything. Like honestly, like making food is like when I did my fight, I actually bought food from Icon Meals and had it sent out for my fight. I was like,
yeah, it's nice.
Which I might go with that company eventually, just because their food quality is pretty good. And like, I mean, I would just get this, like the protein in the car, like get them pre-made in the ounces I want.
Yeah.
Because those were like 8-ounce sweet potatoes, 8 ounces of chicken. And I went down to like grocery store and got some vegetables. Just
added it to them. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty dope. Yeah. Does that conflict, man? I mean, it's got to, like you said, you know, going back and forth from bodybuilding, like you just had a fight, didn't you? Not too long ago?
Yeah, I fought.
What was it, last week or 2 weeks?
The week before last.
Yeah.
Man. That was crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So going back and forth like that, man, I mean, getting so big and then having to cut, like what are you cutting down?
So I didn't have to cut. So I wouldn't, so my second fight, so I ended the whole damn thing fell through. I took a fight at heavyweight. that guy really wasn't like super tough. I won that fight, and
Mm-hmm.
it boosted my ranking, like because of my past experience. Like it boosted my ranking way up. I was like the number 2 heavyweight ranked in the Midwest or something crazy like that. Yeah. So then people saw that. I mean, because people do pay attention to like the rankings. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And this promoter from Houston called me, and he was like, he's like, hey, he messaged me on Instagram. He goes, hey, I got this guy. His name is Muhammad Ali. We're looking for an opponent. Would that be something that you're interested in?
Mm-hmm.
And then we started talking about it, and we negotiated it. And the one thing I didn't like about it that made that fight like really difficult was I agreed to a catch weight at 215,
Mm-hmm.
which, dude, I mean, August I was.
Yeah. You can keep going.
You're good. You're good. It's all good.
What were you saying?
August, I was at 265, and now that fight was January 20th, and it was at 215.
Oh, really? 265 to
August,
215?
September, October, December, January.
Holy shit.
4.5 months, 4.75 of a month, bro. That was like, that did not honestly feel that. Well, I hurt my ankle in the first fight, and like, dude, I was like taping it every day. It was kind of just like dead weight for most of that. And then, like, I broke my nose like 2 weeks before the fight. Just shouldn't have happened. I don't know what
training?
Yeah, I mean, we were sparring like weight. There was like one guy at that gym. I'm not even gonna say his name. He's fucking retarded. Like he couldn't just flow with me. He thought like he always had like a, you know, he felt like he always had to prove himself,
right.
Which I get, I understand, but dude, it's like 2 weeks before my fight, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like we shouldn't be like,
be cautious.
Yeah, and he fucking hit me with an uppercut and broke my nose.
Oh shit!
So that really sucked. I mean, I remember I was at the day of weigh-ins, I was at this 24-hour fitness in downtown Houston. And I was sitting in the sauna, and I'm like, bro, I don't know if I want to do this again. This fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like that was like a, you know, I mean, like they paid me pretty good for that fight, even though I didn't win. I still, you know, but then the whole, so that fight happened. We come out, I drop him with a hook. And like the plan wasn't to go to the ground with him, was to keep on the feet. He gets up and he like fucking kicks me in the face, like totally rocks me.
Shit.
Like I was not like I don't know. Like I mean, Muhammad Ali is he's an athletic dude. I mean, he timed it right.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the ref stopped it, and I don't know. I was kind of thinking that would probably be my last fight. Then things started coming back together with bodybuilding. The smelling salts like took off again. And they were moving like fine on Amazon until like April.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, April was like
I was watching a couple of your fights, dude. I seen one of them. Dude just started elbowing you in the back of the
oh
fucking
yeah,
head.
that was a legal elbow.
Yeah,
bro.
I was like, what the?
I was like, I think this guy's trying to get disqualified.
You were bleeding
right
out the
now.
back of your head and shit.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah,
that was wild.
crazy.
And I seen you fought Bobby Lashley too.
Yeah, that was a freaking 3-rounder.
That dude is huge.
He's huge. He's a very good.
I couldn't believe.
takedown.
I mean, you're a big dude, but damn, that dude is huge.
I mean, I was not like half the size. I was like the way that fight happened was I was supposed to fight. You would know his name. Was it Leonardo? I was supposed to fight this dude from Brazil.
Okay.
And something happened and he fell off. Because I did the Ultimate Fighter, and Dana White literally told me I needed to make 185 and fight at that weight. And so
when did you do that? You were actually on the show?
I didn't make the show.
They have something prior to the show?
Yeah, you go.
Like
well, I don't know
tryouts?
how they do it now, but before there was like you'd have to wait in this long line, and then you'd get interviewed, and then if you made it through the interview process, then you'd do a grappling match.
What
if
do
you
they
made it to
ask
the
you?
grappling match, and you'd hit pads.
Oh, okay.
Then you'd come up if they liked you, and
Yeah.
you'd like talk to like the panel was like Dana, the old matchmaker, there was like, I mean, it was all the UFC dudes just sitting there chilling.
How the fuck did you not get picked with your personality? That makes no sense at all.
Well, so I mean, honestly, like,
I mean, you seem like the dude like they would want on there, you know what I mean, to make it entertaining.
What was my like? I had a winning record, but I had some losses. You know, there were a couple fights like that. I mean, I lost like 3 decisions that were like could have gone. Like, I mean, that's the point though in fighting. If you don't finish the fight, you don't finish the fight. You know what I'm saying? It can go either way. You know, it just depends on, especially I mean, like, I don't know. It's like you know, if I'm fighting out of town and the guy's the hometown hero, you know, and it goes to a decision, like, emotionally, like, as a judge, like, I don't know if I'd want to be in that position. You know what I'm saying? But it's not necessarily that like, they were close fights. You know, they were close fights. But also, too, like, I don't know, like, when you're young and you're starting to figure shit out, too, like, you know, like, I didn't drink any alcohol until like I went pro and I started fighting. Like when I went pro, like when I started fighting professionally, like I started drinking again. Like that's a stupid ass thing to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't drink anymore. I mean, I haven't drank since 2016 just because I think like drinking is like, dude, like if you're like actually training so hard, it will hold you back. So much.
That's one thing I had to cut out, man. It's like once I started getting back healthier and just making better decisions, you know, and working out more and, you know, getting into jiu-jitsu, it's like I just noticed when I drink, it just sets you back a couple days, man. It's
the only reason you're probably drinking anyway is because of girls.
Yeah.
You know, or life. Or life. You know? I never was that way with alcohol, honestly. Like I've been that way.
I was more of a social, you know what I mean? Just like to go out and have some beers, you know, with the buddies and stuff like that, you know. So it wasn't like I was like drinking a 5th of vodka in my truck.
For me, it was every time I could be single, I was like, okay, I gotta like talk to some chicks now. And like, if I drink a little bit, like
get some liquid courage. Yeah. No, that's true too.
Or it's like, you know, you're the weird guy at the bar just drinking water. It's kind of
I think another thing for me too is like when I was in a social setting, like so many people around, dude, it kind of makes you like, I don't know. I was kind of like a weird, nervous type dude. Like I was like, man, there's a lot of people around. Let me drink to kind of open up. You know what I mean? Because I was kind of just kind of quiet to myself. You know what I mean? So when I would drink, it's like I let all that shit go.
You know what? It also
open up.
Now it doesn't affect me at all. But I think like, you know, when you're fighting and you have like an after party and like one of the bars,
that's probably hard.
One of the bars sponsors you to have an after party, you know, and there's all these people here and you feel like almost like a celebrity. You're like, dude, this is kind of
that's
cool.
How like
you know,
my
and
cousin,
it's just like
he was
everybody's
the same way. They'd be at Aura after the fight, you know, fucking popping bottles and shit.
Yeah, it's like because what the bars do is they literally pay you, they sponsor you,
right,
and then you bring everybody back for the after party, and that's how they make their money.
Yeah, I always wondered that, dude. I was like, why does my cousin go to that bar all the time after his fights? I'm like, yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah,
$1,000, or who knows, maybe more than that now.
That's a good spot. Or is a cool spot. So
that was probably like, you know, like I don't know. I'm so far past that now. Like I don't. Well, lately I haven't been doing a lot of social stuff just because those fight camps were so much, and the smelling salts is taking off again. Like
I know. Talk to me about your smelling salts, dude.
Yeah,
you got them right there.
Yeah, we gotta,
I have never ever tried this before, man. So
all right.
This is gonna be.
I just want you to try it before.
Hold on. How close do I get?
Get as close.
Don't tell me that. Don't fuck me up, man. All right.
Go big or go home.
All right. Do I have to shake it or anything, or
just smell it? I think that one's fine. That one's somewhat fresh.
Woo! God damn! Shit, man.
So
that shit'll wake you up.
What do you think Joe Rogan's gonna say?
What's it called? Yep. No,
wake the face up. What do you think Joe Rogan's gonna say when he smells that shit?
Shit, dude. I don't know. I don't have anything to compare it to, but god damn.
Yeah.
Dude. That's my first one.
So
I still smell this shit. God damn.
Dude, there's so
What's
much.
it called?
Yep. Wake the faith up.
Oh my god.
It says wake the F up on the bottle. We had some issues. I mean, when I was originally making the bottle, the problem is there's only so much
dude, I still
space.
Smell it, bro.
Yeah, I had to get you going.
That shit is in there, dude. Holy fuck.
Yeah, to get you going. So I mean,
oh man,
well,
what's next to it? What is that? Is that your
yeah,
pre-workout?
I'm try some pre-workout.
Oh shit, I'm not doing that today. Oh, you got pre-workout too?
Yeah, I got pre-workout and pump. I'll leave that one for you. I might skip it
I'm
later.
scared, bro, dude. I take that shit. I'm a fucking run
No,
around.
it's not. Honestly,
run
the
around the city.
pre-workout. So like, our formula is really unique. Like that's like one of the coolest things. Like the problem with me is if I have like a high caffeinated pre-workout,
Yeah.
I'll just keep drinking it.
Oh,
I'll end
really?
up drinking it like 3 or 4 times a day, and I'm like fucking drinking so much caffeine, it's stupid, and like I know that's not good for you.
No, yeah, it's not.
So mine, like the way it's set up is you can do 1 to 4 scoops. So a lot of the times I'll just do 1 or 2 scoops.
So this has a
But I'll
lower
do it
dose
like-
of caffeine.
Yeah. So
Okay.
and then the formula is different. So it's 75 caffeine and 75 theobromine. And theobromine is another stimulant, except it doesn't elevate your heart rate.
Oh,
So it's not going to increase your blood pressure. It's just like problem with that is like a lot of people just don't know what it is.
really?
Then it has alpha, GPC, and huperzine A, which helps your brain utilize acetylcholine, so you can like.
What gives
focus
you
more.
that pump? I always notice a bigger difference on when I take a
Citrulline
pre-workout.
and norvaline. So most of them don't have norvaline. So citrulline is what gives you the pump. So
Okay.
so there's a few different ways you can do it, right?
Uh-huh.
You can do it with arginine, but L-citrulline malate is superior to arginine because when you take arginine by itself, it has to convert back into beta alanine and then
Yeah.
convert back to citrulline, and then converts back into nitrogen. So sorry, arginine converts into citrulline, then the citrulline converts into the nitric oxide,
Okay.
right? But when you're taking citrulline straight, it breaks one part of the conversion. The problem is your body produces another hormone that breaks down nitric oxide. And that's what the norvaline does, is it inhibits the pump from being broken down. So like that's another thing, like, but just drink that if you drink that 4 times a day, you're pumped all day.
Hey, dude, that's the biggest complaint is losing the pump, man. That shit sucks, bro. Nah, dude, that's fucking crazy, dude. I mean, dude, that shit wakes you the fuck up, man. That's
Yeah.
insane, dude.
Well, so that's the thing. I mean,
how the
honestly,
fuck do you make this shit all day? I'd be.
dude, it's a lot of work. Well, I depends.
I mean,
on,
but smelling this shit all day.
you don't smell it.
Really?
So yeah, when you so it's like it's really not that. You put the label on it, you put the little manufacturer date on the bottom, then you add the sodium, then you add the ammonia, and then you put 2 cotton balls in it, put a cap on it, and shrink wrap the top.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just like sniffing this shit all day.
No, you
just
don't.
fucking...
You don't. So you have to activate it. So like, there's 2. One thing that's different is ours don't come pre-activated.
Yeah.
That's really. I mean, honestly, it's better to do it that way.
Oh, so you have like activating, like you got to shake it up. Okay.
A lot of people make them pre-activated, so they've already been activated. So then people don't have to get confused about the cotton balls and an extra step. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, it lasts longer and has higher potency if you activate it when you get it.
Really? What's the
Yeah.
average you think that lasts? I'm sure it depends
Dude,
on
Derek
individual.
Lunsford had one for a year before he's like, I need another one.
What? That's
yeah,
dope.
dude, that was like I gave one to Derek to St. Louis in like, I don't know, April of 22.
Really?
And then last year I
Dude,
saw him buy one on Amazon and I was like, what the hell?
I always wonder what it did, bro, because I've seen
Yeah.
the whole Rogan. Everyone's seen the reels and stuff like that of them just fucking, what are they like dancing to that techno music, just fucking smelling, the smelling salts?
obviously, like, dude, we've sold nearly 20,000 bottles. We haven't had one adverse event.
Yeah.
I have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of videos, people trying it. I don't even
Really?
know what the count is anymore.
Really?
Like I've literally traveled around the United States letting people try it.
Do you have an Instagram page for your?
Yep_strength.
Okay, cool.
But the FDA now, they're not banning smelling salt. What they're doing though is they are hitting specific companies making certain athletic claims. So it's weird, bro. It's so weird because I went through a lot, like trying, like I'm still like, there's still kind of one more step. The problem is you can sell smelling salt. You just can't say, hey, you're using this for athletic performance, basically,
Well,
which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But then you try to talk to them about it and they want clinical trials. And there have been trials done on smelling salt and there were no adverse events.
Yeah.
But then this is the problem with the clinical trials. So there was a trial done in Springfield, actually, in like I want to say it was 2014, and they had them do bench press and squat, I believe, and they used college students to do the clinical trial. But this is what I want you to think about. It's common sense. If you don't have a lot of lifting experience, if you're not trying to like freaking max out, right? Like if you're not like, maybe you've never even done a max, right? And you're lifting for like, you're not super like involved with lifting, and you start doing bench press and someone sticks one of those under your nose, what would you think? You're like, what is this? Get it away from me. You don't even know how to lift yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, like, you know, obviously, like, and some people don't, it's not for everyone.
Right.
But I mean, if you're about to deadlift 720 pounds and you need like, okay, I need to get this going. We need to freaking push this weight. We need to get this, like, dude, it will wake you up and it will open up your sinuses and it'll help you.
Well, that's what I just noticed right now when I took it. Holy fuck, I feel awake right now.
Yeah, bro.
And I know how that feels, dude. You're fucking working out. You're feeling groggy. Yeah, like, exactly. Man. It's your 5th day of the week.
1 o'clock in the morning and you're at the gym training and you're like, okay, I'm going to do my heaviest set on leg press now. You know what I'm saying? If you take that and you're tired, it's going to wake you. I mean,
I'm about to take that shit in the morning before I go to work.
Bro, you can. It won't cause any problems. We have truck drivers that buy it for that purpose. We have people.
Bro, I didn't even think about that.
Buy it.
Instead of putting down the fucking window or snorting meth, fucking take one of those.
I mean, obviously, if you look at the adverse events, there's very little. I mean, it could dry out your nose. Like, I mean, it could scare you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's not going to, like, dude, I mean, I use it every fucking day and it hasn't hurt me one bit.
Hey, man, it's better than the alternative. Better than the alternative. Well,
that's the other thing, too, is it's not like, I mean, it's not doing anything to, like, you know, I mean, like, I'm not saying, like, you need to huff on one every single set. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were sitting there just, like, well, it's like anything. It's like, well, caffeine, for example. Like, we're just talking about caffeine a second. Like, you can abuse caffeine way easier than you can abuse something like that.
Have you seen the lines in McDonald's?
Yeah.
I mean, people are abusing the shit out of fucking fast food. We don't say anything about that. We support it. We're like, go for it. You know, go out to eat.
Yeah. Well, about make America healthy.
Yeah, dude. It's fine. We were just talking about that, man. It's insane, the health crisis right now in the United States, man. I mean, it's just, I don't get it. I'm glad. I just listened to that podcast with Callie Means and Casey Means, dude. And I'm so happy that I actually found those people and seen the work that they're doing, and they're actually trying to change things with RFK and Trump and all them. And thank God, dude, because the way they explained how, and, you know, I've had Mitch on too, he's talked about this, how the pharmaceutical companies are in bed with the hospitals and they're all, it's like a trifecta. It's like pharmaceuticals, hospitals, and the food corporations. It's money. All money, dude. And they're selling us shit here that they're not selling in like other countries. These dyes that are killing people and shit over time.
Well, the biggest thing I'm concerned about is the stuff that they're the pesticides and and that stuff they're putting.
They even
said
like
we're eating it,
like Fruit Loops, like they're not even colored in other countries. It's plain.
Well, Fruit Loops in general just needs to be something we're not telling people to eat.
Right, but what I'm saying is they're adding these addictive properties in order to get us. I guess so. When I was listening to them, and you know, like I said, me and Mitch talked about this too with the cigarette companies a long time ago, whenever they started to finally realize that cigarettes are bad for you, and they started coming out about it, because before that, everyone's like, smoke a cigarette, man. It's fucking great for you. You're going to be healthy and blah, blah, blah. Well, then their company, I think it's like Philip Morris and all these other companies, they're like, holy shit, we got to start buying other, you know, companies. We're going to lose money. So they start buying all these food companies, you know, like Kraft and all these people. And they take their team of scientists over here that were, you know, giving these false studies on cigarettes. And now they're putting them over here, giving false studies on food and how healthy it is. You know, we get that pyramid from them with the meats all the way at the top and all the bread and shit is down at the bottom that you're supposed to be eating. It's like, what?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how it works. So I was talking about how at the college they stacked there was just literally, they just picked random people that never use smelling salt.
Right.
Well, if you pick a group of people that You know what I'm saying? Like,
so they're
if I picked a group of people that love smelling salt, obviously you would see a positive result in the clinical trial. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like
the same thing they did with the meat.
But here's the
they said meat was bad for you because they weren't giving people in the studies actually just a steak. They were giving them like a hamburger with fucking bread and all this shit on it. You know,
well, just the meat. Okay, so there's a big difference between like 80-20 versus like 94-6 or 93-7, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Versus like 98-2 or whatever the cleanest beef you can get is 99-1. Or like, I mean, dude, the way I do my fats is completely different. It's changed throughout. Like, so originally, which who knows, maybe I'll go back to again. Like I would eat all fish. I would put my fats, fish and egg whites, and I put my fats in through avocados and almonds. Like literally, that's like all I used to do. Now, right now, my diet literally consists of 2 whole eggs and 8 egg whites in the morning, 50 grams of oatmeal, and then there's like bell peppers mixed into that. And then all other 5 meals have 6 ounces of chicken and 5 ounces of sweet potatoes. But then 2 of those meals have 2 more whole eggs. So I'm just getting all the fat from the whole eggs.
So why chicken and not red meat?
I like the way it digests. So the fish, so one of the reasons I got so into so that's the thing with food that people don't think about. So for example, like oatmeal, right? Quick Oats, Original Oats, right? They're both oatmeal, but the Quick Oats is gonna.
What are you getting out of that? Just
it
the
digests
carbs,
better.
The energy,
the carbs is the same thing. I mean, not all the carbs are the same either, though, because some of them are lower glycemic and some of them are higher glycemic, so they're burning faster than others. Like sweet potato, specifically sweet potato, like. I really like that carb. Like, you know, I think your body, it's a very good fuel. Also, you'll see like your skin will clear up, like versus rice, white rice or brown. The problem with white rice is you just burn through it so fast.
Well, that's my problem right now, and this is why I cut out rice, because I deal with a lot of like perioral dermatitis on my face, getting red. It doesn't help when you have a ghee rubbed in your face all the time either.
Yeah,
but it just flares that shit up. And then, you know, I cut out all the rice and it's like, holy shit, like it's starting to look better on my face. I don't feel so bloated. I don't feel so tight, like wanting to crash. Just keeping it more of just meat and veggies. I feel good, man, you know, and getting more fattier red meats to kind of get that energy, you know, from that instead of trying to get it from the carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I think you're okay. So, so when I switched diets, right, I was eating 8 ounces of sweet potatoes per meal, 7 meals, 6 of those meals, 100 grams of oatmeal.
Yeah.
Like I was eating a lot, but so
But you also have a different goal too. You know,
yeah.
so
but I think that there's like a certain point where you bring the carbs. So I think so. First of all, if you get on a diet and you really follow it very strictly, your body becomes very efficient.
Right.
Right. And the farther you drag down the carbohydrates, if you don't increase the fats. But the thing is, like, if I do increase the fats, I still feel lethargic.
Really?
Yeah, man. My body is fueled better off carbohydrates. My muscles are more full. My workouts are better. Like, period. That's just.
Do you think if you weren't trying to have the mass that you have, that it would be okay? But
yeah, well, it's still like even in
because that's a lot to maintain.
That was the thing. I was trying to strip muscle mass off me when I really thought mixed martial arts might. You know, I didn't really necessarily plan on leaving bodybuilding. That was the problem. But then when this NamFam Japan thing came up, I was just like, dude, is this like they're talking money? The money was really good. I was like, I think I need to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm happy I did all of it, obviously, because, well, it's not that I love fighting too. That's the problem, and I'm good at it. But you're right. You can only really dedicate yourself to one, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, unless I don't know how I could do it. Like this last fight, I wasn't going to do.
So are you done now?
Well, this is what I would say. So the last fight, John Rolla messaged me on Facebook, and he told me about the opponent.
Yeah.
And he offered me the fight, and I turned it down. Then he offered me a little more money, you know, told me about the fight. And I go, bro, like, you know, I really like, part of me wants to say yes. Like, it seems like a good opportunity. He has a real Shogun is a really cool organization. I mean, it was sold out, like, you know, great venue, great fights. Like he runs a good show. Like, you know, I thought it'd be cool to go out there. It'd be good for the brand. Be good. I mean, but then I was like, you know, like this is still like, so I said no. And then I saw him on Rogan, and that's when I negotiated. I go, okay, so if we increase the money like just a little bit more, and you send Joe Rogan a bottle of smelling salt and let him tell him he can use it on the show, and get that in the contract somehow, then then I'll do it. And sure enough, on this contract it says John Ralla to send a case of smelling salts to Joe Rogan.
That's hilarious, man.
So, I mean, that honestly, like, and, you know, like, so for me, I mean, I don't know. It's not necessarily even about the money with that. It's just like, dude, I've literally watched every episode of Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, in a lot of different ways. Like, so, like, if you, like, deep-rootedly, like, I am very conservative. Like, I grew up, you know, in a more conservative versus liberal upbringing, although I did live in Washington for 10 years, which makes you kind of see the other side of life. But just listen to how he's able to have these conversations with people on his show just made me think about how much people overcomplicate things with their emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
when
I started bringing that more into my life, like it helped me in a lot of ways. And also too, like just the knowledge that he talks about, and just, I mean, if you actually listen to his show, you're going to learn things, and you're going to, like, you know, it's going to make you think differently about things.
Yeah. And that's
question things.
And that's why people come at him so much, man, is because he has everybody on, you know what I mean? Like, he has everybody on. Hey, just come on and talk. And, I think the problem is, it's like people don't want that. Certain people, you know what I mean? They want to be in their bubble, and they want to be able to manipulate things and control things. And when you go on a 2-3 hour podcast, there's no controlling, you know what I mean? Like, it's whatever you're going to say is out there. There's no clipping shit and editing shit and all that stuff. So, you know, I think that's why he gets such a bad rap, man. You know?
I don't know, bro. I think I mean, obviously, like, he's doing pretty well for himself.
No, I'm saying the people that are against him, you know what I mean?
But I think the thing with Joe is he just doesn't care.
That's perfect.
You know what I'm saying?
No one should care.
Like, he's like, why? Like, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, now, like, most of the time, unless it's somebody I really like have built a relationship with, which usually I don't do, but like, let's say I built a relationship and we have some kind of like something that creates a problem. Like, most of my life is pretty just like, I mean, even when I went through the COVID stuff in Washington, like, I mean, if I didn't have that mindset, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a horrible time.
Like, I think that's like one thing Joe has is a high level of emotional intelligence. And that's allowed him to be able to have these great conversations and really build his whole brand. And he's super intelligent too.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
You know,
I know people underestimate him, just think of him as a UFC commentator or a comedian, and that's it. It's like, nah, dude, if you listen to that dude's podcast, man, he's pretty smart.
He's really smart.
Yeah. Can retain a lot, retains a lot of information. That's one thing I've noticed, because actually doing podcasting, like trying to be able to look at all this stuff and be able to retain it is difficult, man.
It's just about keeping your brain active, because I feel the same way. Like after my car accident, actually, I had like really hard time with name recollection. And I had like, I couldn't name stores like Costco. Like, I could describe it to you, but I couldn't tell you. Now I'm fine now, but yeah, like his ability to recall. I mean, that's he's super sharp.
Well, shit, not only a car accident, you've been getting punched in the face for a long time too.
Yeah, well, I got I got a hard dome. God bless him with that. God bless him with that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I like it. I'm glad that, you know, I've been a huge fan of Joe Rogan for a long time, man. You know, that's kind of the reason I started
Lex
this
Friedman's
show.
good too.
Lex Friedman's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy to see that there's more of these conversations happening. Yeah, I don't know why, you know, like I see a lot of negative towards, you know, him a lot. I don't get it, man. Like even during that COVID stuff, you know, like they just went at
nobody
him,
else
dude.
is.
Yeah, no, it's fucking insane, man. And then they go and support these people. I don't get it, man. I don't. It's all fake. It's all fake. All this political theater shit's all fake, man. It's
kind of the world around us in general. You know what I mean? That's the problem. We became
like, did COVID not wake everybody up?
We became so political. That's the problem. Like even like I have felt that through the smelling salts.
Yeah.
You know, like the FDA comes trying to like, why
how
is
many
the
times
FDA,
has the FDA
why is
gotten
the FDA
caught?
worried about that? Like that's a dumb thing to allocate like government budget to.
But how many times have they gotten caught? Underhand deals, fucking so-and-so stepped down from their position and now works at some sort of pharmaceutical company, has a chair there just waiting for him. It's like, come on, man.
Well, part of it is, let me think about it. You're this lady named Tina Smith and you work for the FDA and you've never seen a bottle of smelling salt ever in your life. You don't know what it's used for and you don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you open it up and you smell it or have your son smell it. You're like, what the heck? You just don't, it's lack of education.
Yeah.
And it's just seeing things like not actually taking the full scope of what it is and how it works and using basic knowledge. Like just, you know, like we overcomplicate a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everything.
Out of fear
like,
of not knowing. Yeah.
Selling on Amazon, like I recently partnered with this lady named Shauna and like all the businesses are really important to me. Supplement Superstores is definitely done a lot for me to help me build my brand and all these other mom and pop stores that carry my product and it's going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to do good things, but I mean, Amazon is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
We sell it for cheap. We actually sell it for $1 cheaper in all the stores.
Really?
On my website. Because, you know, yeah, I'm just like, that was part of the deal that we signed. At one point, we were selling it for more than that. But like, the problem is like people buy so much off Amazon. If you have a good product and people like it, they will just buy the hell out of it.
It's just convenient. You know,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
super
Just
convenient.
fucking order it. It's at your door tomorrow. You know, it's just better than having to go to the store.
That's a problem when they can literally just shut you down.
Yeah.
Like I am now a registered brand on Amazon, but I have a deactivated Amazon account. How the hell does that work? Will you explain that to me? But you know, when I met Shauna, you know, she just literally went through like this whole playbook with me.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, like you need to be a registered brand. I'm like, well, doesn't that cost like $2,000? And are you sure this is actually going to do anything to help? She's like, no, you need to be a registered brand. This is part of the issue you've had in the beginning. I don't want to pay She's like, you don't have to. You go here and you get your trademark, and you go here and you get a GS1 SKU, and you go here and you just like, I was like, wow, I overcomplicated that big time.
But that's the problem, is that nobody knows. They make it so difficult. You got to kind of comb through everything to figure out how it's
what
done.
What it is they try to charge like, you know, way more so that you can do the brand registry through Amazon, but then they're sending you to an attorney to get your trademark.
Right.
They're just, you know, you're just getting nickeled and dimed to death. And really, like, unless you've been through the whole scenario, like, I mean, honestly, like I probably should have just done that a long time ago, but it was, you know, I just felt burnt so many times. I'm just like, what? You know, like, is that actually going to help? Because you're talking to, the problem is like, there's from an Amazon consumer standpoint, their customer service is great, you know, but from a seller standpoint, they won't even tell you exactly what you did wrong.
Really?
Yeah, they'll tell you that you basicly violated a policy, and they'll give you like a brief.
Like YouTube, bro.
And then you're supposed to guess exactly what the problem is. Like, so we overcame two restricted product. We won 2 restricted product appeals in April, and then we won like another case against them in May or something like that. I mean, we've won 3 cases.
Yeah. And
then they're trying to basically the 4th one, which was the last one that happened in July, I think. That was the one where I was like forwarding them letters of the appeals that I'd won. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Then somebody told me it was because of the FDA letter, but there's other selling salts that are still selling on there. So what the heck? Yeah. Like, you know, and so now the problem is like most people just don't really understand. I think the companies haven't figured out like it's really just about not having any athletic claims. So where's it at now? I mean, are they going to actually try to go after it, or are they done? Who?
The FDA.
I mean, it's literally like if you actually read one of the FDA letters, it's all based around claims that are being made on their website or packaging. So, I mean, if you don't have any claims on your website or packaging,
You're good.
yeah. Well, what are they going to come after you for?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There's not any, I mean, even if you look on, it's not even on the WADA list. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, but for some reason, Tina Smith thinks that athletes shouldn't use smelling salt, although no one else does.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Come on, Tina Smith.
Yeah, keep your fucking programming.
Nah, man, that's crazy, dude. You know, I hope they stop. The FDA, man. I can go on and on about the FDA, man, and how fucking corrupt that they are. But whatever.
It's just money. I mean, it's just like,
it's all money.
it's like if it doesn't have anything to do with money, I don't really understand. I think some people just have to have like basic knowledge. Like,
how has the FDA approved half of the shit that's in supermarkets? Think about that.
They're worried about smelling salt. I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Insane. So right now, dude, so you just got done with that fight that you just had. Now we're working towards what now? Another fight or bodybuilding?
I'm 100%. I mean, literally 100% focused on the NPC Midwest Kansas City show on November 23rd.
Really?
Like, I am looking so forward to that. Like, well, the crazy thing is, like, so after the fight, I went to a posing seminar with the Midwest Championships, and they announced that they were going to have the first show in Kansas City.
Oh, really?
And get over here. Oh, yeah, sure. That'd be great. And I don't know, man. Like, I did a lot of my original shows in Washington and Idaho and Vegas and Florida, and I've kind of competed all over the place, but I've never competed here at home.
Yeah. I feel like after those smelling salts, I got to go down a little bit.
You're good, bro.
Fuck, dude. I feel like I'm about to go run around the block.
So I think it'd be really cool. And I think that, I mean, bodybuilding comes down to a few things. It's really ultimately the person. It's not about how big you are. It's not about how ripped you are. It's not about your physique.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the full package.
Right.
Right. And so, the way I look at it is I'm going to be pretty close, if not better than the 22 look. I think I'll be a little more ripped than I was in St. Louis. So I feel like I can put on a good performance and win this show.
What'd you cut down to on that last fight, weight-wise?
Oh, I was 240.
What are you at now?
Like 231.
Oh, really? So you're going down in weight?
Yeah, I mean, I got to get the fat off my glutes.
Okay.
So that's the hardest part. Yeah, bro. That's like the hardest part.
Bro, I don't think any man has ever told me that before. But
so think about it. So, like, you look good. Obviously, like, you look good from the front. You look good from the back.
Yeah.
But then you got, like, saggy fat on your glutes still.
Right.
It's really hard to get, like, that last layer off. It's not easy. And, and honestly, like, for a while, like, you do actually feel it's a pretty uncomfortable experience.
Yeah.
Unless you just have – like, some people just don't carry as much fat there, but if you carry it out, it's just getting that last layer of body fat percentage off, and then not depleting yourself too much to where you're breaking down muscle tissue.
Right.
You got to kind of find that balance. So that's what made the challenge, like dropping all that food going into this, really difficult. Was like, like last week I was feeling it, man. I'm still feeling it this week. It's just not. It's not as bad.
Did you take a lot of damage in that last fight or no?
Well, dude, it was a lot. It was like so. Well, first of all, so on the way to Maryland, we got to Maryland the day before weigh-ins, like on Thursday, and there was this powerhouse in Maryland. I'm like, well, I got to go there and just get a little. I did like a very light delt workout, nothing crazy. Did some posing stuff. Then went to weigh-ins, did the press stuff, whatever. Then we did like little stand up downstairs in the gym. Then the fight day was honestly pretty relaxed. Like I was, until the fight, I was pretty relaxed, and we got in some good mitt work and stuff before that. And dude, you just expel a lot of energy. I don't know how to explain it. So it's just crazy. Like you walk out and you're walking out into this ring and you're like, dude, how does this all come together like this? You know what I'm saying? You're
Even
just like,
even after all the fights you've
you're
had,
like, well, no, it was just like I'm like, it's kind of crazy. You're like, well, I'm, it's you just like, it's just like,
sometimes it's a little surreal.
yeah, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
there's 5,000 people here booing me right now.
Yeah. Booing you?
Dude, they were booing me hard. Like I had been around that for a while, so
That's
that
funny.
was it. Didn't bother me. It made me laugh. Actually, I thought it was funny. I
My
was
buddy Alex says that they usually chant out, what is it? Ott Smash?
Ott Smash.
Ott Smash.
Well, yeah, in
Did
Maryland,
they do it then?
he was the hometown guy. His name was.
Did you hear any chanting?
No,
Not
I just
there?
heard boo, and I'm like I was turned on my corner. I'm like, we're the bad guys.
I thought there'd be like maybe 5 people, at least.
No, it was the whole audience. I mean, he was.
Oh, man.
So Max, I think he's a 5th degree black belt. He coaches a lot of people up there.
Mm-hmm.
He cross trains. So ground control is like a mainly jiu-jitsu / fighting gym that John Rolla owns. I think Max actually has his own gym, but they cross train and do some different stuff with them. So they're very much like John in general and all those good jiu-jitsu guys. They have a pretty big presence up there, and he only does 2 of these fights a year.
Oh, okay.
Where most promotions are trying to get, 1 a month or 1 a quarter or whatever. He only does 2, so they're really big shows, and they sell out. And he sold the rights to a TV network.
Oh,
and
really?
he has like a pretty good business going up there, and the fights were great. But yeah, you walk out there, and then Max comes out. And man, I felt really good on my feet. I landed some solid shots. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna beat that. In my head, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking win this fight, And then he went in for a takedown. I stocked the takedown, and he ended up tripping me. I was like, fuck. I'm like this, and I went down, and in my head, I there wasn't enough like. In the time, I was like, I probably should have just sprung back up to my feet.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for the pressure. Like I was waiting to be able to skate my hips out. Cause I probably could have just gone off. I just would have just just powerhoused it, just push myself through. That expends a lot of energy.
Yeah.
It didn't, but it was probably like, that's where I screwed up. I shouldn't have, I was trying to get a position where I get my hips out. And he came down with one of the punches, and he hit me pretty good with that one. Mm-hmm. The other shots, I don't think were that damaging. They stopped it pretty quick. I mean, I did get my bell rung. Like the first, you feel like, fuck, you got me. So that night was weird because I like literally like I went back to the room, took a shower, I took like a 3-hour nap, and I got up. And I trained arms, did cardio, did posing.
Right after the fight?
Dude, this is like 3:00 in the morning.
Oh,
our flight's at 6, right? So I'm like, I'm going to just whatever. Because I woke up and I was just like, I need to go to the gym.
Yeah, work this shit out.
And so I walked around in circles the casino. I had $40 cash in my pocket. And I'm like, I'm going to put it in one of these slot machines, but I'm like going to make up I'm going to figure this shit out, right?
Yeah.
So I literally walked around this casino like 10 times. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, if there was a good slot machine to put this in, which one would it be? Mm-hmm. So I put the $40 in and I won $500 on the 5th hit.
What?
Yeah, and I'm like,
shit, that'll make it
winning, going to the airport.
That's funny.
I'm like, hey, Jesse, here's your money. He didn't know that.
That's
like,
crazy, man.
Yeah, it was funny, man. It was like, but then when we got back, it was like we had like 400 bottles of smelling salt that needed to be made like now. Yeah. So it was like, and I cut my diet, so it was like literally, it was like make smelling salts all day, gym. Make smelling salts all day, gym. Make smelling salt. Like literally, like. We got that first order out last Wednesday, and then she put in another one for Friday. And then I was thinking about sponsoring a bodybuilding show in Nebraska. They had the NPC show out there, which I really wanted to make, but I couldn't. And Mark Duckworth had a powerlifting meet here in Blue Springs, which I normally always go to. But like, honestly, by Thursday, I was like, dude, I'm like, I made all these salt. I got my workouts in. I'm like, dude, we need to make more pre-workout too. I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea for me to go to these. You know what I'm saying? I was drained. So there was like, I slept for like 12 hours on Thursday.
Shit.
I just passed. I got back from the gym and I was just, and then Saturday I probably slept another 10 hours.
What gym do you go to?
I mainly train at Flex Fitness.
Oh, okay.
I like all the gyms around here. Like, there's a lot of good gyms. So when I originally came back to Kansas City, well, I knew I was going to leave Washington, but I wasn't sure where exactly I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about Vegas. I was thinking about Florida. I mean, my company knew I didn't really want to be there anymore.
Right.
And so they offered me a transfer to Missouri. But before that, I was still thinking about not doing it. But I came back, and I'd heard about Flex, but I'd never trained there. Mm. And I walked in, I'm like, it's better than I thought. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I walked around it once. It's pretty dope.
No, have you walked in there recently?
No, this was like 2 years ago, I think.
Bro,
right when they opened.
Well, I kind of saw, like, so part of it was he had an Arsenal leg press, an Arsenal hack squat, and an Arsenal vertical leg press. And that was like 3 things like I was using almost every leg day. And those, you know, the Arsenal hack squat and Arsenal leg press are probably not my favorite. He has I can't believe I'm space on name of the equipment. There's another leg press in there that I think like the longer you lift, the better understanding of your body you get.
Right.
Right. And like one of the things that Jason has is he doesn't have just one line of equipment. He's literally handpicked Nautilus leg press is what I was going to say. So he's handpicked. So they're the same movement, but the angles are a little different. So like, for example, the Nautilus leg press, if I can get my feet low enough in the right position and my feet set right, I can really focus on my quads.
Yeah.
Like, I like squats. I still do straight leg deads, but I like squats. But the problem is, like, dude, you do like a set of hard squats every week.
Yeah.
You're just wrecked. So for a while, I was going back and forth, and like 1 week I do leg press, other week I do squats, and that worked out well. But finally, when I cut squats completely out, and then I changed like the way I set up my workout. So now I do like I'll do leg extensions, and I'll do 5+ sets of leg extensions. Like, I'll start off really light, and the last one will be like loaded up, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll do the same thing with like plate loaded leg curls. Then I'll do abductors. I'll go really heavy on those too. So by the time I get the leg press, my legs are pretty like stretched out and warm, and like I've literally went through like a whole leg exercises. Then I do that Nautilus leg press and the straight leg deadlifts and the glute bridges I added in just because. If you're cutting out squat, you have to add back in a movement to target because I'm targeting my glutes. So, I mean, you get it a little bit in the leg press, and you get it a little bit in the straight leg deads too, but it's not like fully targeting. It's not hitting your glutes like you would squats. And the problem is if you're on a bodybuilding stage and you got like big ass legs and like small glutes, you look funny. You know what I'm saying? So
do they look at it that close on a bodybuilding competition?
Every detail.
Because I've never watched much of it. I've seen some stuff, some documentaries and shit on it, but I've never like sat and actually watched the last Mr. Olympia. What was that last week?
This year's Olympia was absolutely insane, man. Like, so
I've seen C-Bum won his
C-Bum destroyed. Now Mike the Badass, he's another person that uses our smelling salts. He got second.
Oh, really?
Classic. Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, so that was like insane.
Yeah, and
then the Olympia itself. Dude, that was a tough top 3. The problem is Hottie and Lunsford both have very similar physiques. They're shorter in stature, but they're filled out very well. Derek's quads were down from the front, and that really threw things off for him. Like from the back, I mean, I went back and forth, like trying to figure out between Samson and Derek. I think more muscularly, like Derek still wins that shot. But dude, Samson's like, he has a lot of muscle on him and he tower overs those guys. Like, so if you're talking, like we talk about the best package, like just in general, his physique is better than theirs, you know? But all three of those guys are good. The problem is, like, he just has an extra, Samson's built an extra set of wow factor like Ronnie Coleman had. Similar, different, but similar. And he was like 300 pounds, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
It's a lot of weight.
Well, you know what's really so Jay Cutler, like I followed a lot of the bodybuilders a lot. I'm friends with Jay. I haven't talked to him for a while. I need to. But he when he was training with Chris Aceto, he would train twice a day. He'd get up, he'd do cardio, he'd do his morning workout, and then at night he'd do a night workout and do cardio. He was training twice a day. And for some of these preps, like let's see, where are my carbs at right now? My carbs are still actually, like, if you actually look at it towards like being a normal person, they're still pretty high.
Yeah.
So they're 27%, or no, they're 79% of my body weight, whatever that is. Like, I don't know.
No, I don't know.
It's
do the math right now.
230.
What is it?
70% of 230. 79% of 230.
108. That's not it. Am I doing that wrong?
I got it.
I thought it was times 0.71, right?
It's 231 times point.
Is it 0.79?
79
or 79?
So my carbs are still 292.
Yeah.
But in comparison to like what I was eating, that's like none. Jay, like one of the Olympias, he was eating like 1,000 grams of carbs.
How are they doing
Chris
that,
is like,
man?
well, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you find a certain flow state and you get your body like just,
I know, but you wouldn't feel just
you probably felt great. Honestly, I feel better on him eating more food. Well, this is what you got to think about. Like, there's tiers to it. Okay, you start out like on your first diet and you really start following it. I mean, if you're training hard, eventually your appetite's going to increase.
Yeah,
you're going to get used to eating 5 meals a day. Then when you add the 6th, it's kind of hard. Like, you know, it's a little bit more challenging. But like as your body adapts to it, you start using that fuel efficiently, right? You're able to build some more muscle. Then you like 7 is usually where people like don't want to go past. Like 7 meals is a lot of food. It's just a lot of food to make too. You know what I'm saying? But then like the 4 shakes, like I guess like where I was going is I could have added in more food, but those shakes had like less than a gram of carbs. And with my timing, like normally I don't do protein shakes, but it actually made sense. So if your body if you feed your body too much, so I think that like you have to get to a level where your body will uptake more protein first, right? But if you don't, your body has something called gluconeogenesis, and it basically converts the protein back over to carbs. You know, so but if your body's moving right and you have enough fuel, that's really like so you're talking about Jay, dude. He's 280 pounds, training twice a day.
How tall are those guys?
Oh, Jay's not that tall. He's not that tall. No,
like 6 foot, 5'10" or 5'11"?
No. Jay's probably 5'9".
Oh shit!
A lot of them are shorter in stature because it's easier to fill up that frame.
Right.
That's what I'm saying with Samson Dowda. He's taller.
How tall is he?
At least 6 foot. Oh. He's 6. I think he's 6 foot 300 pounds.
What's the weight class above C-bums? What is that one?
So they're not weight classes. They're divisions. So there's classic physique 212 and then men's open bodybuilding.
How big are those guys?
212 is up to 212, and then men's open bodybuilding is unlimited.
Oh, unlimited.
It's unlimited. You can weigh. But the thing is, like, you know, like conditioning. So if you were to take Derek, Hottie, and Samson and put them all, they all had conditioning. You know, so for example, God, I really don't want to even say this guy's name because I really like him. Hunter Labrada, for example. Hunter looked great. He brought it. But from the back, I know this is weird. Like he's just like has one more level of conditioning he could get down to. He placed, he was top 8. I think he was, let's see, Martin was 4th. I want to say he was like 5th.
What do you mean by conditioning, though? Like, what does that mean?
So if you still are holding fat, no matter how great your physique is, you still are just a little too soft. And it doesn't, like, there's just an extra level of wow factor that comes down. But it's hard to figure out, like, how to do that because what happens is these guys get down, they've cut off their diet a lot. And then a lot of them are trying to carb back up before the show, and that's a very delicate process. Like, some people can just handle a lot more carbs than others. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, your metabolism's already moving so fast, and it usually for most people it takes a while to slow down. So as you're carbing up, if you're already lean enough, it's kind of, unless you start eating pizza or doing some stupid shit, it's kind of hard to fuck up.
Right.
You know, but it is like touchy. Like, so there was a show, the Emerald Cup, where I was messing around with diuretics. I see how much Diazide I could take.
See how much what you can
There's
take?
this stuff called Diazide. It's a diuretic. You don't really have to take that much of it. If you're
what does
really
it do?
if you're really lean, the problem is like, so when I got off stage at prejudging, like, so you what you do is like, if you start to cramp up with Diazide or something, you can just take some sodium and that'll fix it.
But what's it doing? It's cutting you down?
It's pulling water out of your body.
Oh, is it drying you out?
It's drying you out.
Gotcha.
If you're lean enough, you don't necessarily always even have to take them. But if you just take just a little bit, it's worth it.
Really?
But I think, like, some people, the problem is these people are just still have too much body fat, so they try to pull more water. That doesn't bring out a good physique. Also, too, I mean, once you're drying hard, you're drying hard.
Right.
And if you try to pull too much more water out, no matter how much carbs you put in, you're just deflated.
What are some of those guys getting down to, like on stage, percentage of body fat?
Oh, dude, low single digit.
Oh, shit.
It's low.
Like under 5?
Like 3.5.
Oh, damn.
Low, maybe lower than that. I don't even. I think that's a great question.
I think Ronnie Coleman said he was walking in at like 1 or 2, didn't he?
Maybe. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it's hard to even, like, I mean, there's not any fat left on those guys.
What made him stand out so much?
Ronnie was huge, bro. Ronnie, like, if you saw Ronnie,
I've seen his
prime,
I seen him on Joe Rogan.
if you actually see him in
his documentary.
shape, yeah, man. Let me tell you something. So, he definitely trained hard, and he's fucking crazy.
Fuck yeah.
But I really think a lot of his injury is because of the first surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what had happened?
Surgery on what? His back?
Well, so he had back surgery, and
he said it was from that video where he was lifting all that weight.
No, that's where he got the initial injury. But the problem was during the first surgery, they rolled him over and he broke a bunch of screws in his back. They weren't big enough for him.
I remember him saying that.
You know what I'm
Rogan,
saying?
yeah.
And when that happened, that's when he got really bad. So, like, he
Oh,
wasn't
shit.
doing great. Like, he already had atrophy, like, but he was still, like, walking around. He was just in a lot of pain.
Right.
But after that first surgery, it messed him up so bad. And that's like, you know, I was talking about surgeries earlier. You know, I mean, if you don't know somebody that knows somebody, you know, you're just going to get somebody.
Yeah, who
and
knows?
then at that point, it's
Yeah.
a gamble. And, you know, with some of these surgeries, I worry that they're trying to get people through the hospital too fast. And that's how they make their money. And, you know, I don't want to be cut open if I don't need to be cut open either.
Yeah.
If it can't somehow heal back itself, you know, I mean, in some situations you can't. The problem with Ronnie, though, is now Ronnie probably should be taking it a little easier, but he still continues to push it. Which, if that's your life,
At the age he's at now?
yeah, man.
Holy
If that's
shit.
your life, I mean, it's not killing it, but like he's still going to the gym.
Yeah.
He's still lifting.
Well, you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? That might be
I think
good,
he has
keeping
to
him
do
alive.
it. I think he has to do it for his mind.
Yeah.
I think he needs to do it. I think there's just like, I don't know. I think he needs to maybe do it in a different way than he's done it before.
But it's like they say, if you retire and you don't pick up a hobby or something like that, or have something to live for.
So here's the thing. Like I talked
you end
about
up
my strategy changing to with my lifting, right?
Right.
Like, so I mean, I used a deadlift. Well, at first, I mean, at one point I was doing it every week, and then I went to once every other week. Then it went to once a month. Now I just don't do deadlift, which
Right.
is probably the smartest thing I could ever done.
Yeah, I still do them from time to time.
It's
but very
not,
lightweight.
so it's not a bad exercise. Like
Yeah.
it's a good exercise. I think you get a lot out of it.
But a lot of people have bad form.
Well, you can just do other stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's so taxing on the body, no matter how great your form is. Like you're not necessarily going to mess yourself up. It's just, dude, you're picking up 720 pounds.
Would RDLs be better with the dumbbells?
RDLs are different because you're hitting more hamstring. They're more controlled. That's what I do.
Okay. But what about lower back though?
It hits your back, but like you're really trying to see what you're trying to do is you're trying to stick your butt out as you go down, and that's going to target more your ham. So it's like you're going like you got it. It's the way you leverage the weight with your hamstrings.
Because usually when I do a deadlift, like I bring it up with my legs, right, not with my lower back, and then I just kind of rotate.
As you should, as you should,
lever my back. You know,
I think they got to pop like so when you start like doing like, I mean, honestly, like 1 rep max is like powerlifting is great, and I love powerlifting. And man, you can do it for a lot of it does come back to form.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like when you start talking about practical application, if I'm squatting and deadlifting, I probably need to be doing powerlifting.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, Ronnie did both.
So what are you doing for a substitute now for deadlifts?
So what I do is on my back day is when I used to deadlift, which is like 3 days after my leg day. So like those are like, so I train legs. I have 1 leg day a week and it's on Monday.
Really? Okay.
Tuesday,
that's a good day.
Tuesday I train chest.
Get it out the way for the rest of the week.
Wednesday I train back. And so I just completely took out. So I do 3 rowing movements. So I'll do like
so what's your split then? What is that? Like what is this something you made or
Monday is it's just evolved over time, bro.
Okay.
Like it's changed. Like I mean, I'll still do who knows, I might be doing something different. I mean, right now it's just moving and grooving.
Well, you're supposed to, right?
Yeah,
like
right now it's just everything's locked in and I'm building muscle and I'm leaner. Like, I mean, everything's just on point. So there's no reason to change anything. But, so Monday is legs and calves, Tuesday's chest and abs, Wednesday's back and calves, Thursday's delts and abs, Fridays arms and calves. And I do 30 minutes of cardio every day post-workout, and I do like 30 minutes posing probably. Well, a little less.
You do 30 minutes every day of cardio?
I do 30 minutes, yeah. It's at a 3 point. Well, I'm actually at a 3.0 incline and 3.0 speed.
Oh, okay.
So like it's not
fast
much.
walk.
Well, what you got to think about is I've completed the whole workout. I've done like calves or abs.
They say you burn more calories if you do it at the end.
Yeah, your body. So that's what. So you either do it. So I was big into just doing it fasted in the morning, but now with my food being so low, I'm so depleted after my workout. Like, I mean, sometimes like when I train legs this week, I didn't even want to.
How much of a deficit are you in?
It's hard to say.
Like how many calories are you consuming?
Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what my actual resting metabolic rate is.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm eating like 2,700 calories right now.
Okay.
Which is a lot of calories for most people.
Like a lot. Yeah.
But it just depends.
I thought you'd be at like 2,300.
No. I mean, it depends on the person. So like well, it really depends on a couple things. Like one, like your genetics, like how genetically is your metabolism.
Yeah.
2, your food planning and food scheduling. Like, are you like spreading out the meals right? Like, are you eating at balanced times? Like, are you eating a meal right before you work out? Are you eating like, so 2 of my meals, one's right before, one's right after.
Really?
If I don't eat right before my workout, I'm just like.
What's the advantage of that?
I need carbs right before my workout, so they kick in like part of the way through.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm usually like, if I mean, my workouts.
You don't kind of feel sluggish after you eat a full meal and then
so
lift?
much better.
Really?
Right now, I feel better.
I guess
Right
it's what you're eating too.
Deficit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, sweet potatoes, vegetables.
Exactly.
Chicken,
Clean. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super clean. I drink a lot of water. Like I need to. So usually, like 2 weeks out, I'm drinking 3 gallons of water. I need to stop with the water bottles because I'm definitely polluting the world right now.
Wait,
Dude,
I recycle, dog. We're good. I recycle. That was all the shit in my garage.
No, bro, I'm blowing through so much water a day right now as it is because you just like sit in your.
Why don't you get you a big ass fucking gallon?
I was doing that, bro, but like,
yeah, like one of them aluminum ones.
yeah, I need to. You're right. Well, I need to just get a filtered water system and do that whole deal.
Yeah,
I just need to do it.
Then fill it up at your house.
I'm an asshole. I mean, honestly, it'd probably save me time. You know what I'm saying?
It probably would.
About it.
Instead of having to go in and get fucking 30 packs of water.
Well, you just go to Quick Trip.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have them like right at the door.
Fuck, dude, those things cost like $6.
$5.99.
Oh hell no,
Yeah.
dude! And you're going through how much?
Yeah, I know. I
go through a pack a day.
Yeah, I know.
Oh shit, man! Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's going to be C-Bum's last year or what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's only 29.
Did
so.
he established it, right? He said it was going to be the last.
Yeah, he established it. So
Yeah.
he just bought into a company. I'm sure he's going to be pretty busy with that.
Yeah.
He just had a kid, a little girl, I believe.
Yeah.
He's happy with his relationship. I mean, him and Courtney seem to like have a really good thing going.
Yeah.
Both their brands tie together. I mean,
I like him, dude. He was on Chris Williamson's podcast.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like just very open, dude. You know, like even about steroid use. He talked about how like I'd never do Tren again and like promote it and all this stuff.
Man, when you take Tren, like, well, I think it just depends. Like,
he said it was like he wouldn't do it again, and the guy that was interviewing him was very surprised. He's like, you would think in your line of work nothing would be cut off.
It depends on the person,
right?
You know, right. That's the problem with well, any medication, honestly, is the effects, you know, can be a little different from person
per
to person.
individual. Yeah.
And some people are way more sensitive than stuff to others. Some people can tolerate more. I mean, like basic things like testosterone, MPP, equipoise, Anavar. You know, you're really, I mean, unless you're like taking them to supernatural levels, you're not going to.
Right.
They're not going to mess with you. But like, well, what's really the most, Tren is definitely hard, but orals are like just, you can only, there's only a certain amount of time you can take them before they start damaging your liver and kidneys.
Like Anavar and all that shit.
Yeah. Like you can only use it so often. That's the problem is, so like, I had a client that was working with, God, my space is name. He was the guy that was always talking about steroids online.
We'll blame the weed.
He was everywhere. No, I do that sometimes. Well, he was working with this person, Boston Lloyd.
Oh.
Boston Lloyd. So he's working with Boston Lloyd, and he came to me and he's like, man, he's like, I think I need a different coach. And I talked to him and I asked him what he was on. And I like, dude, he'd done nothing less than a gram of tests for like the last 3 years. And like he'd like not really cycled on and off orals. And I'm like, bro, like you need to like reduce your test down to 250 and take, 125 twice a week. You need to like, you're gonna have to let your body chill for a while.
Yeah.
Like, because what happens is, well, one, it's not as effective. Two, like, and then it depends on the person too. Cause I mean, I think like that's where blood work comes into play.
Yeah. It's a
like,
big
is
thing.
the person actually healthy? I mean, you usually would know, like you can kind of like physically tell whether you're healthy or not, but a lot of people don't, I think, you should still do blood work. I think once a year, at least minimum. I mean, some bodybuilders are doing it monthly, quarterly, which I think is smart. Yeah. The older you get too, like your age definitely, but some people can just handle stuff better than others is really what it comes down to.
I haven't had an issue. I haven't taken anything real big.
Yeah.
The biggest cycle I've taken is I just did my normal test and master on. Yeah. That's probably the biggest one.
Well, in my opinion, Tren should be used for nothing but before 8 weeks out from bodybuilding.
Like a professional or amateur bodybuilder.
Yeah, if you're like if your goal is to win the show and you've created that package, and you're trying to be a top level regional competitor.
Yeah.
and win overalls, then I think at that point that should probably be something you should use if you can tolerate it.
How much are those guys blasting? They've got to be blasting the fuck ton.
It depends on the person.
Oh.
It all depends on the person.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, you're right. C-Bum did say that in that interview. Yeah, he said you would think that people think I'm increasing my shit. And he's like, I'm not. He's like, I'm still at the same levels that he's been at for a while. And he's like, usually only like professional or guys who are in bodybuilding like you would realize that. Like, but normal people just think that they just keep blasting more.
Well, and they just want to like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like I've done like my share of experimentation and trying to understand things myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's like it's like there's basic principles that you can't cross. And then it really just depends on what your body can handle. And like when you say what your body can handle, like what are your biomarkers and how do you physically feel? A little combination of both.
Right.
I know when there's something wrong with me. Like I drop my carbs, I know. You know, I don't really notice it as much until they're like way further down. I mean, like half of what they normally would be.
Yeah, that's true, dude, because I've noticed like I do a Deca blend as well with TRT. And I notice a real big difference on Deca than I do Masteron. Like that shit's way different. Mentally.
Well, yeah, Masteron hardens you up.
Yeah.
So
like even like you said, trying to feel like when it's not for you, you know, Deca kind of plays around, I feel like, with the mind a little bit. I don't know if you've ever heard that before.
So Deca and Tren, both they make your body produce a different hormone.
Right.
Not estrogen. It is, I can't believe I'm spaced on this.
I feel like something that makes you kind of bitchy.
Yeah. Well,
that's literally like how you feel.
There's aromatase. You know? There's this thing called Prami and there's this thing called Caber. And you can take those and they will
it's like a blocker.
Yeah. Yeah, but then again, like some people just handle it better than others. Like some people get gyno really bad, some people don't.
Yeah.
You know, so like, you know, I think like Caber Go Line is probably like if you're taking Deca or you're taking Tren, like it wouldn't be a bad thing to use with it.
So a lot of these things too rely on genetics as well, it sounds
your genetics and like, you know, even you talking like, you know, your mind too. You're right. Like, you know, like
kind of C-Bum has that stoic like look to him and thought process when he's lifting. You know?
Well, I think part of it is you get like you can push yourself to a different limit that you couldn't if you didn't take them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to like it's like literally if you're doing it right, not just in bodybuilding, it can definitely push you in other things. But if you push yourself to a point where you can't handle it, that's a problem too. You know what I'm saying? Like there's different people have a different pain tolerance.
Oh, you're talking about like the amount, right? I was
not just
saying,
talking about the amount. I'm talking about the person.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the person
like,
and their thought process and where they're at in life. That's going to affect the overall.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, like just, you know, I mean, well, like we were talking about earlier, like the emotional maturity part even. You know, I mean, you're definitely putting in like, well, think about it, like women.
It's scary because some
of
these
women
dudes
in birth control. It's the same concept.
Yeah.
You know, a woman starts taking an estrogen based birth control. You know, and usually, you know, they go through some hormonal changes. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that there's not like, you know, but there's other birth control that's not estrogen derived that you can take. And I think maybe sometimes, I mean, women can do whatever they want, but maybe if they considered like different alternatives, and I'm just saying like we're like I'm using that as an example towards different steroid compounds. Like, you know, not everybody should have to take Tren. I agree 100%. Like if you are doing a bodybuilding show and you want that hard, grainy, crazy look, it could be something you could use. But depending on how you handle it, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's the same. I was just like, because birth control obviously is legal and it's the same kind of thing. But like, you know, it messes with your mind.
Yeah.
You know, it messes with your
hormones.
Hormones, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I know. I went down kind of a rabbit hole on the whole birth control thing, dude. And there's alternatives, but I think the problem is that the alternatives are always things that take time and like more effort to do. So people are like, fuck that. Just give me the quick way.
Yeah.
You know? Kind of like prescription pills when people get, you know, like, I'll just go take this or the Ozempic shit that's going on right now. Everybody's just going crazy over that shit. It's because it's easy.
It makes money.
Yeah, and it makes money. Well, on their side. But on the individual who's taking it, it's like, do I want to wait a year to see results?
Follow
You know, or
diet,
like,
get
and
on
I have to lift
program.
weights when I can just get this and it just melts off of me, you know,
Yeah.
which even though they said studies show afterwards,
Well, the problem is
there's like
a lot of those
fuck ton of
are
people that
breaking
fall
through
off of that
muscle
shit.
tissue. Well, the problem is, okay, if
Yeah, because you're not
at-
doing anything.
okay,
No resistance training
so
at all.
if you're actually talking about like your health,
Yeah.
right? Like I think like diet needs to be the number one focus.
Yeah.
I think after that it is you have to exercise.
Right. Then
You
after
have to
that's-
be able to. You have to
after
be
that's fucking smelling salts.
You have to be able to. You have to be
I'm
able
going
to,
in for a second. I'm going in for a second. I got to wake up a little bit, dude.
You have to
All
be
right.
able to. Let's go.
Oh, shit. Bro, that one burned. God damn. Woo.
Yeah, you have to be able to control your emotions.
Shit,
you know,
man.
obviously, like that's.
I'm crying right now. I ain't controlling them. Shit, dude. That thing is fucking. Ugh. Bro, the first one was not that bad. It was not. That shit just burnt the shit out of my nostrils, man. Holy shit. It's going to recorrect my allergies.
Well,
Woo. All right, I'm awake. All right, what were we saying?
be deadlifting over there soon.
I know. What you taking pre-workout at fucking, what time is it?
I'm gonna work out in a while.
8 o'clock at night?
I like
dude?
to work out later at night.
Really? Is there something to that?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
shit.
it messes
Tell us
up
the
your-
secrets,
No,
man.
there's like, well, so
No.
I know everybody at Flex, and I love being social. But when you get to a certain, yeah, give me water. Yeah, sorry.
You done drank. You done
I
drank like a
told you, bro.
24
I
pack,
told
dude.
you, bro.
I'm gonna know if I have you back on, man. I'm gonna have to bring 2 packs of water. No, I drink a fuck ton of water too, man.
That's another thing.
I try to hit a gallon a day. I try. You know, I get close.
People don't realize. Okay, so really with anything when you start talking about drugs,
Mhm.
I think you have to talk about all the core morbidity factors. You know,
I need to stop
do
this shit. This is what I need to stop. What's this got?
What is it?
48 or 24 grams of added sugars.
Yeah, that's not good.
What's a pop? Like 40
It's the same
grams?
thing. Yeah, it's like not much different.
Holy fuck,
bro!
Yeah.
That's like
I know, but when you see this green tea citrus, you're like, oh shit, like that sounds healthy.
you got to get the
you know?
sugar-free ones.
I need to get them off. They're probably gonna sue me.
Yeah. No, when where was I? I don't remember where I was at now.
Talking about water
Water
or
oh, yeah,
sugar
so-
and
so yeah,
soda.
like it's a lot of basic things. Like people don't drink enough water; they start drinking all these other drinks.
Right.
So think about it. You're putting something in your body that is causing this process. Like if you have all these other things
Mhm.
wrong with you, you know, you probably shouldn't be pushing yourself more. You know,
Yeah.
you need to clean up everything else. You know, it's just like, I don't know, man. I guess I don't want people. What I consider fun might be different than what a lot of other people consider fun. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And like, I'm not telling people they have to be one way or the other, but I'm telling people if they want to like be healthy and feel good, you know, you don't maybe have to. You really prioritizing your health, will
Right.
seriously make a difference. Like, like you feel better. You're able to function.
I've been trying to tell, especially like I was, I guess, overweight in a sense, you know, pudgy as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. I'm at 209 right now, and I could probably still get down lower than that, you know. I know I can. I think I was 235 at the time, dude. Just felt like shit, man. You know,
Yeah.
ate like shit
Yeah.
for a majority of my 20s, and then seeing the difference the last 2 years, you know, because I've kind of floated up and down.
I'm trying to figure. it out.
Going, you know, falling off the wagon, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Well, I've been on it for the last 2 years straight now, and it's about the longest. There was another period I had about the same, but of bringing everything together, man, like just you know, having the jiu-jitsu now, you know, that great for cardio,
Yeah.
and then also
It's a lot of fun too. Have you done a tournament yet?
a lot of fun. Yeah, I've done quite a bit.
Hell yeah.
Doing not quite a bit, probably like 5, you know,
That's
when I
cool.
was a white belt. So I got hopefully my first blue belt competition here
There
in
you go.
December. I
Where
gotta use Fuji because I fucking signed up to help out the gym, and then I got I think I got a bulging disc, so I pulled out and or something. I can't remember what I had, but I was fucked up. And So I backed out of it and I tried to get a refund, and these assholes sent me a coupon to use at the next one, dude. I was fucking pissed, man. I was like, dude, because I would rather go do AGF or submission only, you know what I mean? And which I've done them, but I would rather do those again. I didn't really care for Fuji too much. It's all right, but so now I got to use that. Yeah,
get it done.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun, man. I don't know how much different it is from white belt to blue belt. I feel like it'd be a lot more competitive.
It should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on if people are holding back their white belts or not.
True.
You know
Sandbagging. Yeah.
Well,
that happen
like,
a lot.
Well,
I heard it. I hear it happens.
Well, when I was talking to Enrique, he goes, "This is how you get your belts." He goes, "You go to Worlds, you win world title, I give you a blue belt. You go to Worlds again, you wear blue belt world title, I will give you a purple belt."
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's literally like, you know what? Like, I was honestly like, that almost took me down that rabbit hole. Like, literally, I thought about that, and I'm like, like, that actually would be a great way to, like, go up in the system and be really fucking good.
But that guy's serious? He's going to do that?
That's what he wanted to do.
Who is it?
Enrique. He's one of my cousins. He's like, well, because, I mean, dude, well, you got to think, I never, like, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wasn't, like, there wasn't a lot of BJJ guys out here handing out belts.
Oh, so this is a minute ago. This is
when I came back.
What
I started out as a white belt again.
Holy shit.
Because I technically hadn't been put in any kind of BJJ system. I was put in an AJJ
I mean,
system.
I guess it's up to the gym on how they want to. I mean, at the end, the mats
it's
don't
weird.
lie.
I showed up to this gym in Nebraska, and the owner, what's his name? Was it Nebraska? I think it was Nebraska. No, yeah, it was Nebraska. I showed up to this gym, and he's like, "Why are you wearing that belt?" And I'm like, "I'm a white belt, bro." He's like, "No, you're not." He goes, "You fucking." I'm like, he's like, "Let's roll." He's like, "You're definitely not a white belt."
That's funny.
Although, like, going back into it, it's weird because a lot of things just really clicked. I'm like, here's a sweep, here's an arm bar.
Yeah.
Like, all like super. But then, like, I was having a lot of fun, like, learning how to do a bunch of, like, here's how you trap an arm with a gi. And I'm like, oh, I'm really good with that. I want to trap everybody's arm with a gi for a week. So,
what are you, more of a no gi or gi guy?
I've been no gi most of my life, but I've really gotten into gi lately.
That's what they say. They say the older you get, the more you kind of tend to side more towards the gi.
It just adds different aspect to it, man. Like, it really does. Like, I wish I would have gotten into gi. Well, I don't know.
So for you, it's just because you've been doing it so long at no gi. So now you're like, man, I kind of want something different.
Well, yeah, I started doing it, and I was like, I'm pretty good at this. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. Like, you always go down these rabbit holes, like you said, and you're like, oh yeah, like this sounds like a fun game plan, like, but like then I'm like, I tell myself, like, that's the problem, is like you can be good at a lot of different things, but you really need to focus on what you're primarily focused on.
Right.
I mean, the fights, I think, were just part of the journey that I needed to go on to figure my life out. You know what I'm saying? I really think that was like, they came in and I could have, but I think regardless, like, it did things to help make me money and help build my brand. And
why did you get into fighting? Was it just that time when you're
the Nam Fam? Well, no, I fought all my life.
No, I'm saying, like, when you first got into
from
fighting.
wrestling, Matt Cox. Yeah, he was one of my
So
coaches.
it was just him that got you into it, nothing else?
Well, honestly, like, I was so into wrestling. My original plan was, I was wrestling at Central Missouri, and I started my senior year. Like, I was a damn good wrestler. I just, the problem is, like, Kevin Stanley and
you did all 4 years at college?
No. So Stanley and Hull were the other two coaches there. They're the ones that really recruited me, and I really liked them. I really liked the systems. They understood Haggerty. Like, they kind of, like, understood me as an athlete. You know what I'm saying? And when they left and I was stuck with Urslan, I was like, I'm getting out of here. Like, this is like, I'm like, because he was mad because I was fighting. He's like, can't be an NCAA athlete getting paid money. I'm like, Coach, I don't get paid any money for the fight. I get paid to sell tickets.
There's that workaround.
Well, back then, when you were an amateur, they give you a percentage of tickets.
Right.
If you get a lot of people go to fight.
Yeah, that's what they do at, like, Blue Corner and all that, right?
Yeah, probably.
Over at
Brandon Nogueira's probably, I would assume you'd do.
Over at the Voodoo Lounge. They do their events,
I need to go to one of theirs. I haven't been for a while. But so during my freshman year, I won 11 fights, and I decided to go pro. And I was like, well, so when I was going to college, I mean, I literally just was like, I'm gonna go here and wrestle.
Yeah.
Like that's like really like they gave me, you know, a sponsor, a full ride scholarship basically, and you know, I'm like, but when I got there, like what was funny is I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be in my life, right? And originally I wanted to be exercise science, which makes a lot of sense, but like I was like, there's no money in this, because back then, like in 2006, there was no online coaching, or like,
Right.
there just wasn't like a lot of money. I didn't necessarily want to go to a gym and be a trainer, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with that, you know. That, I mean, you can make a lot of money doing it, and you can really build a respectable brand. It just wasn't really necessarily what I wanted to do, you know. I just kind of had like a bigger, I guess, vision. Then I was like, well, you know, I'm going to take this fighting thing as far as it can go. And I don't know, man. My last, like, I made 185. I won that fight. I fought for Bellator, won that fight at 185. I was kind of on the whole win some fights at 185. We'll put in the UFC. That was kind of like what was on my mind. Yeah.
I didn't know you fought at Bellator. That's cool.
Yeah, but then when the Bobby Lashley fight, I mean, I guess that's kind of like, it's not always necessarily about the money. You know, that really kind of threw me off because I was on a good win streak. And, you know, I almost won that fight. Like at the end, he was completely gassed out. He couldn't keep his hands up. I gave him a takedown. So I was kind of like devastated about that.
Yeah.
Then I came back and had the Jake Rosholt fight, and I got hit with the legal knee, and that was just a stupid fight. And then GNC offered me the deal, the promotion in Seattle. And then I started thinking about, like, well, that doesn't sound, you know, that sounds like a good opportunity to take. Like, they wanted to pay me a pretty good paycheck. And so then I, like, envisioned this whole different thing with my life, basically. And I was like, okay, I'm going to move to Seattle. I'm going to get married. I'm going to get a house by the lake with a car, blah, blah, blah. And I just basically did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, like, I don't know, from 2011 to 2016, I went through, like, this whole soul-searching thing. So I was like, what? 2016... I was like 28 years old, probably. I was like, dude, if I'm gonna do something, I gotta do it now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I gotta get moving, you know. And that's when at that point, I was like reading a lot of books, listening to a lot of podcasts. I was really like, I was still focused on the business and stuff, but I really started to like, I don't know. Me and my ex-wife weren't getting along, so I was like, I'm just gonna do other shit.
Try to get your mind off
shit. It's the best way to think about it. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, that wasn't necessarily good for our relationship, but I mean, it wasn't working out anyway. I was like, I don't really, you know what I mean? It was like
I feel you.
You can come up with a plan, right, and achieve a goal, but being married to the same person for the rest of your life, I mean, I don't think that's a goal. It's either something that is there or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like that's the problem. Like sometimes when you're like, okay, I'm gonna get married. So I got married. Like I was like, well, probably should have married her right away, whatever. But it's fucking life, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes you just make that move and then there's no going back.
Bro,
just gotta play it out.
It made me like, well, what it was I started reflecting back on my life before I left fighting and went to GNC versus after. And I felt like I was doing a lot more of what I really wanted to do, you know, when I was fighting, and the goal was bigger, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard, dude. Like when you have a nice job and it's like cushy with pay and they take care of you, but like, if it's not in you, like you don't feel fulfilled, that's hard.
It just wasn't enough.
Yeah, especially if it was keeping you from training. That's probably what was fucking you up.
Yeah.
You know, because I noticed that when I was a PM, it's like at this one company, and dude, like mentally draining all fucking day, having to deal with everybody's fucking problems, and then to come home, you know, and your phone's kind of still ringing and shit, and you're trying to get away and go train like an hour and a half.
Well, that's what she would always be mad because I'd go home and I'd want to go to the gym, but she hadn't seen me all day. Blah,
right?
Blah, blah.
Yeah. And then you got to split time with family.
Like, yeah. So then I started sacrificing the gym, and then she would say shit about it. She's like, you know, I'm like, well, you either get it or you don't. I mean, I don't know what, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like trying to split this and somebody, I mean, I only have so much time.
Yeah. Because then if not, you're working out at fucking 3 a.m, you know.
Which I still do.
Fuck.
But,
I don't know, dude. When I used to work out at 4 a.m, I used to go to Planet Fitness at like 4 a.m. and work out there, and I'd had to be at work at 6. So I would just leave straight to there. I feel better. I feel like I've seen more results from the morning, but I feel better lifting in the afternoon. For some reason.
So this is like my schedule's weird right now. So basically, usually like right now I would take like a 2-hour nap.
Yeah.
Or no. Let's see. It depends on the day and how late I go. So I really like to go to the gym like past 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
Kinda
like usually
out,
like and so I'll get there. Like let's say I get there like midnight, right? I'm gonna be there till 3, right? So I'll take a nap like 2 hours before I go, and then like if I get back at 7, like I'll take like a 3-hour longer more nap or something. You know what I'm saying?
Gee, what are you doing, man? Just napping and working
So
out?
yeah, I'll just basically, bro.
Fuck.
Like I'll just like sometimes I'll split up my sleep into 2 different portions. You know what I'm saying? I require more sleep now though, since I'm getting leaner. You know, normally,
How much are you sleeping a day? Or how much is like at night? How much you sleep?
I was averaging like 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours, but now I'm averaging more like 7.
Okay, and you're still taking naps
With the naps.
with the 7.
With the
Oh,
naps.
that's with
Yeah,
the
it's
naps.
yeah.
So then, what are you sleeping through the night?
It just depends.
Like 3 hours?
Yeah, 3.5.
What the fuck,
Yeah,
bro? How are you?
So here's the thing, though. Like, if you take a nap,
Yeah, I know
go
you're
to the
taking
gym,
naps, but everything's broken up.
This is crazy. So you take a nap,
Yeah.
you wake up, you eat, you go to the gym, you do all your training, you take another nap right afterwards. Well, you wake up feeling pretty good because you had a nap before you worked out. You trained.
I feel
you had
like
a nap after your workout, and then you just go on with your day.
you don't feel like groggy, like
No,
going back and
it's
forth,
like,
back and forth.
Well, if it depends on how many carbs I'm eating. It really is what I mean. It's more diet based than anything else. Like as long as I can get the 7, right? I mean, before 5.
When you wake up in that 3 hours, you don't feel like half asleep.
When I close my eyes, I'm just out.
Right,
Like,
but when
I
you
just-
wake up though,
No, I'm pretty good about getting up.
because you know, like sometimes you'll wake up and you'll like wake up fine, and then those
Unless I'm
some days you feel like half asleep, half awake.
Well, after I got back from the fight and slept 4 hours a night making all the smelling salt, I definitely had a downfall after that where I was like, yeah, I'm going to bed. Order in. I was like, I'm going to bed now. Yeah. So like if I'm that's the problem. Like, you know, heading up to this bodybuilding show, you know, I got to make sure that we have like enough inventory to fill everything. It's going to be interesting to see when it pops on Rogan and
that'd be dope.
How that works out for business,
dude. That'd be fucking dope, man.
Just seeing him use it would be really cool.
So when's this next bodybuilding? You said
November 23rd.
November 23rd.
Harris.
Okay, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
What do you compete in? What division?
I'll probably be open super heavyweight. It's anything over 225. So I would imagine. Then the next part, which I'm pretty like, unless somebody at the show says like, John, you really should do nationals, which, you know, like it just always depends on like who shows up, really. You know what I'm saying? So, but if somebody like, you know, like Jack Tony is a promoter of the show, or Robert Wichman, or like somebody that I look at as like a serious, like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, then I would consider doing NPC Nationals, which is December 23rd, I think. It's like a month later.
Okay.
But I really think, you know, unless I get that nod that I'll do Masters Nationals next year, I'll be bigger, just as ripped, and I'll just go crush it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it honestly just makes more sense. And then, you know, I'll probably take a full year off, just train and put on muscle density, and then, you know, see how far I can get in that 2-year period, look how I look on open bodybuilding.
Hell yeah.
You know, which, I mean, right now, I mean, just even with that stint of fight training, like I put on a lot of muscle. like in a very short period. I mean, 215 and I'm like 231 ripped. So I put on 15 pounds of muscle.
Damn.
I mean, maybe my body fat, but I mean, even so I put on more than that because at 215, I still had more body fat.
Yeah. And
You know what
maybe
I'm
your
saying?
body's conditioned too. You know
Well, I
what
stopped
mean?
lifting. I didn't lift. For,
No, but like, you know, I feel like if your body, you're going kind of back and forth with
Yeah.
it, like it knows like,
oh, for
all right, it's
sure.
time to
Your
grow.
body's
Yeah.
trained. Yeah, I think that's definitely something
Yeah.
that you ingrain in you, and your body adapts, and it's like, oh, we're doing this again. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, kick everything into gear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, John, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming on,
Appreciate you,
dude.
man.
Yep, it was
Thank
nice
you.
meeting you, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you wanted to put out? Instagram, any of that stuff? I'll have everything tagged and all that
so
shit.
If you haven't yet, you got to try out the smelling salt.
Yep,
It will wake you the faith
it definitely
up.
woke me the fuck up.
The pre-workout, all 5 flavors are delicious. Apple Fire and Cherry Bomb are probably my personal favorite, but strawberry, raspberry, twist, blueberry, and smash berry are all good. We have a stem-free pump called Stupid Pumped. If you don't want any caffeine, you can take. And right now, I am working on funding some different things that we're going to do with manufacturing and stuff. And I don't know when exactly it's going to be, but here soon, I'm going to have a bigger game plan put together. We're going to do some rebranding and we're going to launch a bunch of stuff. So
Hell yeah, dude.
you just got to keep things rolling.
That's awesome, man. Hey, man, like I said, I appreciate you being on, man. You're welcome on anytime, dude. So
Thank you.
I'm going to end up buying some fucking smelling salts here.
Well, that was yours, bro.
I'm going to make sure I got some of those in my bag, man.
Yeah,
So.
those are yours. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. I appreciate it, man.
Get huge.